Hello, YouTube. Hello, hello, hello. All right, let me now get my screen set up for all of you on the other platforms here, and we can get going. Here we are. All right, you're good to go. Let me see what I've tagged first up. I know I have a handful of things, at least, before we get into Miss Steph's pile. Oh, there's the newly renamed the Donald J. Trump and the John F. Kennedy Memorial Center for the Performing Arts. A lot of these. But that's okay. Making them angry, and that's I shouldn't laugh, I know, but it's a little guilty pleasure, I guess. Let's see. Do we have any of the whining about this? Probably. Oh, here's Jim Acosta.
Well, here we are at the scene of yet another crime committed by Donald Trump. He has vandalized the Kennedy Center by putting his name on it. And he just needs to understand that, first of all, he can't do this single-handedly. Only Congress can authorize a change of name to the Kennedy Center. But yet he doesn't care about the law. He doesn't care what is appropriate. He's gone and vandalized the Kennedy Center, which is, we should note, the John F. Kennedy Memorial Center for the Performing Arts. It was named after President Kennedy after he was assassinated. Donald Trump should show some respect for that. But of course, he doesn't do that. And, this is what needs to be said. We, the American people, are not going to call the Kennedy Center the Trump Kennedy Center. Just like we're not going to.
You just did. You just did, though.
Call the
You kind of just did.
Department of Defense the Department of War, or the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America.
Oops,
we, the sane, rational American people, are not going to go along.
Is that? I'm getting there right? They continue to astound. Okay. Trump announces an irrefutable report will be... Oh, sorry, that's actually old. Clinton, all up in the new Epstein files.
These files for months, only to dump them late on a Friday to protect Bill Clinton. This is about shielding themselves from what comes next or from what they'll try to hide forever, so they can release as many
Oh, really, Bill?
grainy 20-plus-year-old photos as they want. But this isn't about Bill.
Would those be grainy photos of you naked in a hot tub with a young woman that isn't your wife, or
Clinton?
Or one of the other photos of you naked with a young woman who isn't your wife?
Strong reaction from his team. Not surprising. What do you think? These files for months, only to dump them late on a Friday to protect Bill Clinton. This is
Insane. I'm sure we'll be getting into some of those. Imagine Steph has tagged me in a bunch. Hilarious moment with Trump talking about Melania's panties drawer.
I had these animals trying to attack me at Mar-a-Lago. They went into my wife's closet, and I'll say this, number one, it's very bad, but it sounds a little strange. They looked at her drawers. You have drawer, and then you have drawer. They looked at both.
Frickin' thing's frozen.
And she's a very,
now.
very meticulous person, like these people. It's just like she'd fit into your group very well. She'd be very happy with her, but everything is perfect. Her undergarments, sometimes referred to as panties, are folded, perfect, wrapped. They're like so perfect. I said, that's beautiful. That's the part of the world she came from. Everything was perfect, no problem. Fold, fold, fold. I think that she steams them, make sure they're just sitting. We came home. I wasn't there when the raid took place. A raid of a popular president.
A panty raid? Could we legitimately deem it a panty raid? I think we could. I think we can call it a panty raid.
Former president. She opened the drawers and it was not that way. They were a mess. It was all over the place.
Yep. The Biden FBI are panty raiders. Feeling panties. All right. Let's see. On to the main pile here. Oh, Trump on Hillary Clinton.
Probably 50 or 60 points higher. Now, Hillary was smart. She was nasty. Whew, I wouldn't want to go home to her.
Nasty woman.
She was nasty. Remember, she was a nasty person. I was going to use the B word. I said, my wife would not be happy. My wife always says, please.
Bozo. So what is he like? Is this from last night? Gotta be the rally last night. Actually unable to watch it live, so missed a lot of this. Looks like it's good fun though. Dooby dooby doop doop. Down we go, down we go. Oh yeah, got plenty to look. Very nice. Trump to deliver remarks in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Oh, so he is speaking today. Or did. Yes, did speak. Oh no, that was, okay, never mind. Scratch that, I'm an idiot. It was yesterday. Bombshell details emerging on foreign national Claudio Manuel Neves Valente, the Portuguese shooter who massacred students at Brown and murdered the MIT nuclear fusion professor Nuno Loureiro. Sources reveal Valente was casing the building weeks in advance. A Brown custodian spotted him multiple times since late November, lurking in surgical mask and suspicious clothes. Classmates from Portugal called him arrogant and confrontational. He started fights, insulted everyone, and had to be physically restrained.
Fox News alert, we got him. It took 6 days. A man had Florida plates, possibly a rental. It was parked in front of the little shack.
Oh yeah, the person that posted anonymously on Reddit.
Repeatedly responded, quote, "Why are you harassing me?"
The homeless guy.
Turns out,
I hope they get the reward money. They better.
To identify persons of interest and let us run witnesses.
The whole thing was just such a train wreck, man. Any indication of motive yet? Homeless man who led police to the Brown University shooter lived in the building where the tragedy took place. How did he do that?
Ken,
How did he live in the building?
there was some slippage at the edges of the task force here relative to that lead
you
that
also
took them
had,
to Coventry.
Paul-
They lost valuable time.
Paul, you also had the homeless man was living in the building and taking shelter there
That's right.
at that building, and they didn't know.
Yeah, and you know, that goes to something we were talking about all week, where we were saying it doesn't have to necessarily be something as high level as a school shooting, but with no security, what are you asking for? You're asking for burglaries. You're asking for people that are just going to trespass on the grounds. It can be much more commonplace and average harassment that you're asking for, and in this case, turns out the homeless guy ends up being the hero, but the fact that
The homeless guy ended up being their security, effectively.
he could live in the basement
They just couldn't spring for the security. So the homeless guy did the job.
of this place, and
Without pay.
apparently nobody knew, just goes to what was going on here.
Yeah. Paul, thank you.
And there was some slippage at the edges of the task.
Ridiculous. Well, here's why he may have targeted the Brown University MIT professor. Okay. How long ago did they go to school together? Like, how long ago was that? It was a long time ago, right? Yeah, like 25 freaking years ago. Often complained about moving to the United States and about university. He would say the classes were too easy. Honestly, for him, they were. He already knew most of the material and was genuinely impressive. But when Neves Valente, while Neves Valente was sometimes brilliant and could be kind and gentle, he also had a dark side, including when he bullied another classmate and called him his slave because he was from Brazil. I had to break up a fight once between them. Oh, there he is from back in the day. Okay, devastated parents hadn't heard from him for 2 decades. He broke off communications with them shortly after his stint at Brown, like 25 freaking years ago. What? Sounds like some weird MK Ultra shit or something, man. I don't even know. Only seeing him again when his picture appeared in the media after he killed himself Thursday night as the cops closed in. Wow. That is just bizarre. Okay, so why would he have killed the guy? Or had a great need to stand out and show he was better than the rest. His attitude was unpleasant. Okay. Reason not immediately clear. Strange. Wish they'd just get to the frickin' point. Yeah, they don't really say. I thought this was fake, but it's real. The man who opened fire in a lecture hall at Brown University is named Claudio Manuel Neves Valente. His ex is Claudio Neves, only has 79 followers. One of those 79 followers is Barack Obama. Now, granted, I believe Barack Obama follows like 1 million freaking people or some shit. It's a lot of people. Oh, pardon. It's a lot more than... never mind. It was close. It's over 500,000. Follows a shitload of people. So, you know, But it is worth noting. Where's it at? Oh, there he is. Okay. While D. Moro weighs in on the search for answers.
And it's sort of like a terrorism case wherein it feels...
Come on, man. Stupid video.
It's like there's not a profit motive embedded in a crime, right? It's something ideological. You know, we look for big, expansive answers that somehow make sense for horrific things. You know, going back, a good example is JFK, right? No beginning except the idea that Oswald did it because it's such a large event by such a small person. My point is this. I don't know that we're ever going to get anything that satisfies relative to a motive. In fact, having been up close on a lot of these kind of things, this one feels to be very petulant. Almost driven out of bitterness, out of somebody just leading a slipping down life, more than anything else. Under the facts we have now, I'm getting revenge. I'm getting a guy who just didn't end up with the life.
So why the girl, though?
That he wanted and decided, you know, I'm looking at 50, I don't like what I'm looking at, and decided I'm just going to act out. A
small, petty person.
Exactly.
On some rando he went to school with over 2 decades ago, and then some random conservative girl? Like, what? No idea.
Across the world, based on his...
We saw that one the other day. Okay, Tim Walz now faces a congressional subpoena by the House Oversight Committee to testify about the rampant Somali fraud.
As for the Minnesota fraud, Congressman Comer tells Fox that he is prepared to subpoena Governor Walz to come in and testify before the House Oversight Committee if Walz doesn't cooperate with their investigation, Brett.
Bill, sometimes these things take time. What's the next step here?
So you heard Congressman Comer talk about wanting to get those bank records. He said specifically what he's looking for are things called suspicious activity reports. He wants to try to track what, if any, money was sent from Minnesota back to Somalia, who was sending it, who got it, how much of it was taxpayer dollars.
All right, we'll follow it. Bill, thank you.
Yep.
Trump livid that $9 billion was stolen by Minnesota fraudsters under Tim Walz. At least $9 billion, probably more.
Breaking now, we begin tonight with President Trump's response to last week's killing of 2 American service members and a civilian interpreter in Syria. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth calls new airstrikes tonight in Syria a declaration of vengeance against ISIS terrorists. We have Fox team coverage on the breaking story. Trey Yanks is in Tel Aviv with reaction to the strikes, and Chief National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin starts us off with what we know here in Washington. Good evening, Jennifer.
Good evening, Brett. A senior U.S. official tells Fox the U.S. military has struck more than 50 ISIS targets in the past 2 hours following the president's order to, quote, hit them hard after the killing of 3 Americans Saturday, 2 members of the Iowa National Guard and their civilian translator by a member of the Syrian security forces. U.S. Central Command launched a massive strike on dozens of ISIS targets in an operation called Operation Hawkeye Strike. Iowa is the Hawkeye state. The strikes took place at multiple locations across Syria. The targets include ISIS infrastructure and weapons storage sites. Pentagon Chief Pete Hegseth tweeted, quote, this is not the beginning of a war. It is a declaration of vengeance. The United States of America under President Trump's leadership will never hesitate and never relent to defend our people. Sergeant William Nate Howard, 29, of Marshalltown, and Sergeant Edgar Torres Tovar, 25, of Des Moines, and their civilian interpreter, Ayad Mansour Sakat of Michigan, returned home in a dignified transfer Wednesday at Dover Air Force Base in Delaware, where they were met by the president. The December 13th attack, which took place while a senior U.S. military commander was meeting his Syrian counterparts near Palmyra in central Syria. Afterwards, Syrian security forces helped carry out 10 partnered operations across Syria that led to the death, we're told, or detainment of more than 24 ISIS-affiliated individuals. The U.S. provided support during those raids. Those raids, Brett, led to the confiscation of electronics and individual interviews that resulted in the intelligence used for this operation to locate potential targets. A CENTCOM review is ongoing into the exact affiliation of the Syrian gunman who joined the security forces just 2 months before. The gunman was in the process, Brett, of being removed from the Syrian military for suspected jihadist ties. Brett?
I mean, Jen, more than 4 dozen targets. That's quite a lot, I mean, actually.
That's a lot. It included airstrikes as well as artillery strikes. We'll have to see some of the bomb damage assessment, but this was a very, very broad set of strikes tonight in response to the killing of those Americans.
Okay, Jennifer, thank you. Now let's get reaction from around the...
What? Or not. ATF confirmed the Brown University shooter's gun was also used for the murder of the MIT professor.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, we're also learning new information from the ATF and FBI that the 2 guns that were found with the suspect are a match to both shootings at Brown University and the murder of an MIT professor. Now, this case, it took a lot of wild twists and turns. Police crediting a homeless man for posting on Reddit for really cracking this case wide open after a 6-day manhunt. Now, that tip from that homeless guy, it led police to a rental car company where they learned who they were looking for. Investigators identifying the suspect as 48-year-old Claudio Neves Valente here. He's a Portugal national and a former Brown PhD physics student. He took a leave of absence in 2001, and then officials say he officially dropped out in 2003. After a manhunt spanning several states, police found him dead in a storage unit in New Hampshire on Thursday night. According to an autopsy, he was dead 2 days before he was found, as you mentioned. Police say he opened fire in an auditorium on the Ivy League campus where there was a final exam review session. 2 students were killed, 9 others injured. Officials say he's also responsible for gunning down a prominent MIT physics professor. He was murdered inside of his Boston home 2 days after the Brown shooting. Police say they were former classmates in Portugal, and now the big question is why.
They need to kind of dig deeper and understand what that intersection was, what motivated him. They're also still looking, Griff, for anyone who could be knowledgeable of, either complicit with, wittingly or unwittingly, in his plan. So what has he been doing for the past almost 23 or so years?
And Brown University is now facing a lot of criticism for their lack of security and lack of cameras. When asked if they're going to make any changes, the president shockingly said that he doesn't believe that more cameras would have made a difference here.
Ridiculous thing to say. Okay. Marco Rubio confirms the NGO industrial complex is being gutted. What? New era of foreign assistance eliminates extreme ideological projects that previous administrations forced the American people to subsidize, cuts out the wasteful NGO industrial complex, and puts the American people. Well, sounds nice. Hope that's the case.
Of our foreign policy.
Oh, here we go. Direct from the horse's mouth.
And it should be used for the purpose of furthering the national interest. That doesn't mean we don't care about human rights. That doesn't mean we don't care about starvation. That doesn't mean we don't care about hunger. That doesn't mean we don't care about humanitarian need. What it does mean, however, is that even foreign aid, which is not charity, it is an act of the U.S. taxpayer. Now, American charities are free to give their money to whoever they want, as long as it's not a sanctioned entity. But the United States and the taxpayer money should be spent in furtherance of our foreign policy. Should be spent in places and on things that further our foreign policy. And even that is not unlimited. We have a limited amount of money that we can dedicate to foreign aid and humanitarian assistance. And that has to be applied in a way that furthers our national interests. And that's what we have sought to do as well. And in that endeavor as well, we have empowered the regional bureaus and our embassies to play a dramatic role. In fact, they are not just the implementers of this. They, in many cases, are the ones that are suggesting and are leading the response. And so bringing the tools of foreign aid underneath the umbrella of our broader foreign policy has been an important and dramatic reform. Even in the midst of all that, we remain engaged around the world, including in conflicts that perhaps are not central to everyday life in America, but the president has made it a priority to be a peacemaker.
Fair enough, fair enough. Happy 6th anniversary U.S. Space Force.
Good morning, everyone.
And welcome to today's show.
So what does the Space Force do exactly? Do they launch rockets?
Did you hear they might go to Mars?
Are they astronauts? I think they monitor satellites, right? Is it the same
I thought
as
the
SpaceX?
Earth was flat. It's Semper Fidelis.
Is it the same as NASA tax code? Semper Supra?
Invisible front line. Neato. DOJ has obtained court approval to release to Congress documents collected during the FBI's investigation into Thomas Crooks and his attempted assassination of President Trump. Oh, goody gumdrops. Ooh. Well, now. Guess we got another load of potentially interesting documents on the way here. The Epstein files in 60 seconds. Oh, joy. There's Bill. There's Bill. Freaking buck naked, practically. I mean, he's got a little swimsuit on, I think, but there is a young lady whose face we cannot see, and thus, actual age we cannot see, blacked out behind that box. Oh, there we go again. She looks like she could be rather young. Could be early 20s, could be late teens. Oh no, Michael! No! Wearing creepy silk shirts together with creepy patterns on them. Yeah. Oh, who's the third wheel there? Who dat? Can anyone tell me who dat be? That is Ghislaine Maxwell completely naked in the pool with Bill Clinton. Completely. Bill, at least, does seem to have a pair of swim trunks on, but Ghislaine Maxwell, not so much. Oh, God, I'm sorry. I apologize. Nope, ew. Who is that? No idea. Rich guy. Naked girl. More naked girls. And what is that, like a young Jeffrey Epstein? With a Jufro? I don't... What? Huh? Ugh. What the fuck? No. Who? What the shit? Jeez, man. More Billy Boy. With, I don't know. Some other rich guy. That would appear to be Trump right there. In both photos. Tucked into a box of some kind. Think. Maybe? Oh, what's... Yeah, looks like it. A desk drawer, maybe? Is that Mick Jagger? Right? No, Michael! No! MJ, no! What were you doing? Okay, that's a strap-on. Where was this thing? Like some other implements hanging out here. There's Billy Boy yet again with a young lady whose age we cannot really discern. There's Bill looking longingly at spaghetti noodles. Pasta. I have no idea. That's Spacey? I believe that's Kevin Spacey. It looked like Kevin Spacey right there. Yeah, there's Spacey. What the shit? Dick soap? That. Would appear to be more young people. Young ladies, I think. Huh. An IDF shirt. Of course. Man, oh man. All right.
The Justice Department begins its release of files, hundreds of thousands of them, of the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche said this morning on Fox News several 100,000 documents will be released and additional material will follow over the next couple of weeks.
Ooh.
Some of the names mentioned so far, former President Bill Clinton, Rolling Stones frontman Mick Jagger, and Michael Jackson. We have been told by the White House Chief of Staff, in quotes, and others, that President Trump's name is in these files. We have not seen it yet. Some of the documents are redacted, and we're still combing through what has been released so far. Correspondent David Spunt tells us where things stand right now. I mean, it's a massive dump. David, good evening.
A massive dump. A lot to talk about. 300.
A massive dump. The government just took a massive dump on all of us, you guys. Massive dump.
According to the DOJ, hundreds of thousands began posting, Brett, on a DOJ website just 2 hours ago to set the expectation, though it's going to take some time to go through them. The documents are not labeled with any great detail. There are plenty of photographs, but many have no names, dates, or location, and context is really empty in some of them. Some of the photos are of mature content. Now, there are several photos of former President Bill Clinton within the first few documents. He's recognizable, unlike many others in many photos, but the photos of Clinton don't have any context. Now, there are some photos with Clinton and other faces blacked out. DOJ says that is to protect any potential victims. One of the photos shows the Rolling Stones, Mick Jagger, sitting around a table, but again, no context is provided. As for President Trump, who spent time with Epstein back in the early 1990s, as documented by previous photos of the two of them together, so far, no new photographs are showing up in the files that were released. We're told that there will be hundreds of thousands more released, but at this time, we've not found any photos of Trump and Epstein other than the photos that we've seen previously released. Now, Brett, there are a lot of redactions in these documents. Just look, this is one document titled Masseuses. There are 7 pages, 254 lines, presumably.
Oh my gosh. Like freaking Pokemon. Caught them all, I guess.
All of them blacked out. At the top, there's a note that indicates they're blacked out.
He's completed his Pokédex.
To protect victim information. Now to a live look at Capitol Hill. 1 month ago, Congress passed a measure signed into law by President Trump calling on the DOJ to upload all of the Epstein documents to a website available to the public to search. The law also makes clear, quote, no record shall be withheld, delayed, or redacted on the basis of embarrassment, reputational harm, or political sensitivity, including to any government official, public figure, or foreign dignitary, end quote. Some 300,000 documents supposed to be finished by midnight, but we're told several 100,000 more will be posted in the coming days, meaning technically, Brett, the DOJ is missing the deadline because the law called for all of the documents to be uploaded by 11:59 p.m. tonight.
I assume reaction on Capitol Hill so far is along party lines, but what are we getting?
It is along party lines. You have a few Republicans that are critical of what we've seen, but so far the Democrats say that there's not enough information that's out. They want to see all of this information. They're thinking on taking legal action, and of course, as we expect, to see Attorney General Pam Bondi and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche being asked to come to Capitol Hill in the new year to testify about why all of these documents, Brett, were not uploaded by 11:59. But we're told hundreds of thousands more in the next couple days.
Well, they better follow quick, damn it.
So we'll continue to dig into those.
Michigan AG under fire. Dana Nessel. Drunk Dana. Under fire for clear ethics violation in handling of cases tied to her wife and Democrats. Oh, yeah. She's dirty. Dirty as they come. Like, she's known for it, in fact. It's like a trope up there when it comes to her. The whole state, really. Joke. Corrupt as hell. Okay, so Dana Nessel, who has left the door open to run for a higher office. Oh, yeah, she wants to go for governor, baby. has been slammed by the Michigan State GOP after a Michigan House investigation dug into her handling of 2 inquiries, one linked to her wife, through a group called Bipartisan Solutions, providing significant financial backing to a fair and equal Michigan ballot proposal measure, with which her wife was involved. And another centered on allegations of financial impropriety carried out by Tracy Kornack, a former Michigan Democratic Party treasurer. That kind of shit goes on everywhere in their state. In criminal cases, like, the Whitmer cases, same kind of shit going on. Conflicts of interest all over the place. Completely ignored. They just brushed right over them like they didn't even exist. Okay, Professor Scott Lucas from UCD's Clinton Institute weighs in after new photos of people in Epstein's circle are released. All right. No idea who this guy is or why we should care, but let's hear it.
My concern is that this is a cover-up, rather posing as a release, rather than the transparency and the accountability that first and foremost the victims of Jeffrey Epstein and other powerful men deserve. The reason why I say that, and some of that came out in your correspondence excellent summary, is that there are very few documents related to the criminal case against Jeffrey Epstein that have come out. You are showing a few of them on screen about vague references to, I have a field mail for him. But apart really from a 1996 testimony from a woman named Maria Farmer, which raises questions why Epstein was not investigated then. There's really not a lot of substance here. Instead, what we get are 2 things. One is we get, as your correspondent noted, these complete redactions and absence of documents. He mentioned, for example, the 119 pages linked to the grand jury in New York, the case that eventually led to Epstein's final conviction. But there is no appearance of the 60-page indictment that we know was filed against Epstein in Florida, nor is there any appearance of the massive document with the evidence which is behind that indictment. And then the second thing is the nature of the redactions. I've worked with secure documents for many, many decades that have been released by governments. And there are good reasons for redactions, to protect witnesses, to protect victims. There may be security issues. But in all those cases, there's an explanation of why the redactions occurred. In this case, the documents have just been dumped with absolutely no context and no explanation of the redactions. So this appears to be a stall, especially when you consider that the first photographs that the Trump people pointed the media to were the photographs of Bill Clinton, trying to get those to be the headline rather than Epstein or Trump or anyone else that might have been connected with criminal activity.
Oh, look at that. They wheeled out Big Bill Barr again, huh? Former AG Big Bill discusses Jeffrey Epstein.
You clearly were AG on the Epstein situation. Our take here at the Ruthless Variety program is like, I can't believe that we're having a discussion about this in the way that we're having a discussion about it.
Democrats are very animated about releasing the Epstein files, despite the fact Joe Biden did not mention it once when he was president.
Very true.
Boy, I wonder why. It's not because they're interested in the truth or some new revelation.
Well, they were interested in protecting Bill Clinton, among many others.
Yeah. Like, what do you make of all of this? I mean, you had an inside view of all that.
Yeah. I guess now all bets are off because they see potential blood in the water and a chance to finally get Trump.
Yeah, I mean, this has been going on 20 years. There have been civil cases. The victims have brought civil cases. There have been, investigative journalists all over the place. There have been criminal investigations. Not one person can come and say, Donald Trump did anything wrong.
You clearly were AG on the Epstein.
Interesting. Okay. Elise Stefanik. While spending precious time with my family this Christmas season, I've made the decision to suspend my campaign for governor. and will not seek re-election to Congress? What happened here? I mean, I guess it could just be as she says, and tired of it and spend time with family instead. I can certainly understand that. I did not come to this decision lightly for our family. I'm truly humbled and grateful for the historic and overwhelming support. However, as we've seen in past elections, while we would have overwhelmingly won this primary, it is not an effective use of our time or your generous resources to spend the first half of next year in an unnecessary and protracted Republican primary, especially in a challenging state like New York. And while many know me as Congresswoman, my most important title is Mom. I believe that being a parent is life's greatest gift and greatest responsibility. Incredibly grateful to the people of New York's 21st District for entrusting me to represent you. Thank you to my staff. I'm proud of the significant results that we successfully delivered. It's been a tremendous professional honor to serve as your Congresswoman for the past 11 years. Huh. Yet another one. Interesting. Loomis announces retirement from Senate. Interesting. Are there any others? Cynthia Loomis, Republican from Wyoming, announced Friday she will not seek re-election, setting up an open seat primary in the Ruby Red State. Then in a statement that after an intense session, especially the past several weeks, she did not have it in her to serve out another 6-year term. I don't know, man. That's starting to seem a little weird, possibly. People are starting to hop on a new trend that involves stealing from Walmart. This is a new trend? Maybe it's a new way of stealing from Walmart, okay? They locate discarded receipts outside the store, then go inside, and grab the same items already paid. Don't they mark the receipts when people walk out? Like, don't they circle them or whatever? I know that's what they do at Costco, right?
Oh, no way. See, they
I
got
guess at Walmart they don't do that. They just like look in your bag and wait on.
Rice Krispie treats.
Well, that's gonna change now. Soon we're gonna have to line up at the freaking door so they can look through our bags and circle every single item on the receipt and then sign off on it before we are permitted to leave the store. Thanks to these shitheads of a certain community.
Got chocolate rice cakes, and they got a Diet Coke. Come on, receiver.
Thank you.
Yep, have a good one. This might be unpatchable.
Wow. U.S. imposes sanctions on 7 associates and members of Nicolas Maduro's family. Oh, and his wife. Biden, FBI, and DOJ weighed campaign finance probe of Senator Kristen Sinema after she left the party. Wow. Wow. They were going to punish her. They were going to try to punish her. Man, oh man. Yeah, nice. Workers just spotted celebrating after putting up the Trump on the now Trump Kennedy Center building. Nice. Looks like one of them is doing the finger. Like Trump did on he was shot at. All right, Washington, D.C. resident on the verge of tears after Trump's name was added to the Kennedy Center. Oh, this guy. I saw this. Hilarious.
Feeling like democracy
Delicious.
died today. This is history. Feeling like democracy died today. This is history happening today, and we should all be shocked that a felon, a convicted felon, and a thug, and by all means a grifter, has just stuck his name on top of a national monument. This is a desecration. Feeling like
unbelievable. Democracy died today. Nice. New York City rat tug of war. Oh shit. Oh dang, the one on the left's the winner. Oh, he got this. He's a big boy. Gonna overpower him. Yup. It's great. Hey, you don't mess around with those bagels, dude. They're good. They're delicious. I wouldn't let one go to waste either. Nick Reiner will apparently plead not guilty to murdering his parents and will presumably go with the insanity defense.
Based on the information we now have, Nick Reiner is not going to plead guilty to these murders. He is going to plead not guilty by reason of insanity, and here's why. We have learned that Nick Reiner was diagnosed with schizophrenia, and he was under the care of a psychiatrist and receiving meds.
Boy, that sounds slightly MK Ultra-y.
His behavior in the month before the murders.
I have to point out that Rob Reiner was indeed connected to a number of people in the CIA.
And this is a quote from sources with direct knowledge, was erratic and dangerous. He went to an LA rehab facility in the time before the murders. He had been to a number, but in particular this one that specializes in treating mental illness. It's really expensive. It costs $70,000 a month. Lots of rich, powerful parents send their kids to this facility who have mental illness, and Nick was there. In the 3 to 4 weeks, and this is so important, in the 3 to 4 weeks leading up to the murders, Nick's medications were changed. And they were changed because he was exhibiting more and more erratic and dangerous behavior. But when they were changed, they weren't right. And it was making him, as one source put it, crazy. And the doctors were trying to adjust the meds, but it wasn't working. And he was getting more and more erratic. In addition to that, Nick was abusing substances, and we're told the substance abuse worsened the schizophrenia. So all of this paints a picture of someone. In fact, these words were used to us by one of these sources with direct knowledge, that he was, quote, out of his head at the time of the murders. So based on everything I know, this is not going to be a case where they contest that Nick did it. I think they're going to concede it. I don't know that for a fact, but all of the dots that we now have to connect lead us to this is not going to be a not guilty plea, I didn't do it. This is going to be, at least at this point, based on everything we know, without saying more about sources, if I were a betting man, I would say this is a not guilty by reason of insanity.
And that, it sounds like there's some potentially really weird shit going on here. CIA connections and Nick Reiner was diagnosed with schizophrenia, and in the weeks leading up to the murder, the meds he was taking made him erratic and dangerous. Yeah. 3 to 4 weeks before the murders, doctors apparently changed his meds, and he became even more erratic. Wow. DOJ appeals ruling that tanked Comey and Letitia James criminal cases. Will it succeed? Let's see. 3 thoughts on the Fulton County 2020 election news and what this is, but let's see.
All right, a couple quick thoughts on the Fulton County rule violation in the 2020 election that was just finally adjudicated before the state election board. First and foremost, this is exactly why Burt Jones, Brandon Beach, and myself called for a special session at the Georgia General Assembly back in 2020. We were chastised by Jeff Duncan and a bunch of our party leadership, but the reality is this should have been investigated in 2020 before the election was certified, not in 2025. That brings me to my second point. Why in the world is the state of Georgia having to rely on private citizens playing private investigator on their own time to uncover these irregularities?
Yeah, and Minnesota, and I don't know, like how many other freaking states? Oregon.
Fulton County was under observation
California
by the Secretary of State's office in 2020. This should have been caught by them. This should have been investigated by them, and it should have been done immediately. And that brings me to my third and final point. It's always Fulton County.
Yeah, they're dirty as hell. Biden won Georgia by 11,779 votes. Now, over 5 years later, they admit that 315,000 votes in Georgia were actually counted illegally. Oh boy, how about that? They admit they violated the rules in 2020 when they certified 315,000 early votes that lacked poll worker signatures. Oh, this is hilarious. This is just too much. We're all culpable, Michelle says, speaking out about 2 quotes from her book. Both of the quotes apparently focused on how women are perceived by society and what could be done to prevent those issues from occurring. Michelle Obama says we have to pick leaders who don't rob women of their femininity. Sorry. It's something in my throat. Yeah. Kristi Noem says Trump admin has located more than 129,000 unaccompanied children that the Biden admin lost. Yikes. U.S. Department of Justice sues Georgia over access to voter information. Suing Georgia for not turning over requested voter information to the Trump admin. Why they do that? Okay, Trump admin says the lawsuit's part of an effort to ensure election integrity. DOJ wants access to detailed voter data, such as voters' full names, dates of birth, residential addresses, state driver's license numbers, and the last 4 digits of their socials. Trying to, you know, check up on things. Wonder why they try to hide that. Senator Mike Lee and Rep. Tim Burchett are filing legislation letting private citizens seize cartel assets if the president grants them authority. What? Huh?
To both the House and the Senate, respectively. The president would issue a letter of marque, which lets private citizens act against U.S. enemies and seize property, something that has not been done for over 200 years. And it's already gained support from Elon Musk, who says, quote, it would work super well. The man behind the mission, Tennessee Congressman Tim Burchett, joins us now. Congressman, so great to have you on. So why do you think this is necessary to have a bill to allow private citizens to do this?
Well, first of all, we're basically under attack, and there's constitutional consequences. This was done by, I believe, President Jefferson first, the Barbary Pirates. It's in the Constitution. Yeah. It's provided for. It just has to get congressional approval, and I think it's a legitimate way to go after these cartels. They're not they're armed combatants, so they're not necessarily military. So there's a constitutional question. And you know, Congress is like a sieve made out of chicken wire, ma'am. And there's no secrets in this bunch, and there's no loyalty to this great nation, especially our military. And as soon as, you know, I remember back when President Trump took out some Soleimani, I believe it was, who's an evil man. And the Democrats in Congress, Pelosi and the rest of them, they were mad that they didn't get his approval, as if he had to take out this dirt bag. And I think it just gives President Trump just another tool in his toolbox to go after him. And Mike Lee is a superstar, man. There's like, outside of Andy Biggs, I think he's probably my favorite Mormon in Congress.
All right. Well, do you think that private citizens will actually do it?
Yeah, absolutely, ma'am. And they would be, look, they're not going to run an ad in Soldier of Fortune magazine or down here at Toddy's Backdoor Tavern in Knoxville. They'll have privateers that will be former operators. You'll have SEALs, special operations people. It'll be top notch. There's an insurance provision in this. There's all kinds of things that are. It's just not some ragtag thing like you'd see on some movie somewhere. These are going to be first-rate operators. These are men and women possibly that are some of the most patriotic, well-tuned as you could say. Military folks, and I think it's a great way to do it, and it saves all the constitutional back and forth, and it keeps our
thing. Very interesting. Articles of impeachment now being drafted against AG Bondi by Ro Khanna and Tom Massey. Oh boy.
Attorney General Pam Bondi. Some Democrats are saying she should resign, including Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Are you considering impeachment for the Attorney General if you don't feel that the Justice Department complies with your law?
Thomas Massey and I talked about it. He's working, as am I, on drafting articles of impeachment and inherent contempt. We haven't decided whether to move it forward yet, but we're in the process of doing it. And look, the problem that the Attorney General has, if you just look at the comments to our social media feed, is the amount of MAGA influencers who are upset with her. And the issue for her is not, are there going to be 212 Democrats who would support it? The issue for her is how many Republicans and MAGA supporters would support it.
That's true.
So my hope, because
at this point, it really kind of where we're at.
Hope has never been about Pam Bondi getting justice or Todd Blanche getting justice. My hope is she looks at this. She looks at the outrage that MAGA has. She looks at the disappointment that the survivors have, and she makes a decision over the next 2 weeks to actually start releasing these documents, because she may lose more Republicans in the House than she anticipates.
So y'all are drafting articles of impeachment. I mean, how will you decide if you're going to file that?
Well, one is a pragmatic decision in terms of impeachment is a political decision. And is there the support in the House of Representatives? I mean, Massey and I aren't going to just do something for the show of it. But my sense is, just looking at the initial reactions from people in MAGA, from survivors, is that this release is going to cause as much grief for Pam Bondi as the earlier releases. Susan Wiles said she whiffed. This isn't building more trust. And I was early in the morning, I was giving positive quotes when Blanche was on television, because he said, I'm going to release a few 100,000 documents. Someone said, well, bro, they had to release all the documents. I said, as long as they comply with the spirit of the law, I'm fine. But this was in no way complying with the spirit of the law. Massey and I wanted to cheer for actually having released things that helped the survivors, and we were just devastated.
Okay. Bondi. Luigi Mangioni's lawyers say Bondi's death penalty decision was tainted by conflict of interest. Jeez. John Fetterman just confirmed his own party shut the government down to please their base. Yeah, they got nothing out of it. Ridiculous move.
What I'm saying, it's like, this was a demand by, and people were afraid of parts of our base, and I'm like, we were always the party that refused to shut our government down. And then after what we ended up with it was a vote. Pretty confident that we could have got that same vote, without shutting it down at this point. What I'm saying.
Hey there. Benjamin Netanyahu says he'll travel to New York City soon, despite Mamdani's vows to arrest him. Odd. American barber in Minneapolis refuses to serve Muslim customers, citing ongoing harassment for Muslims. I think I've seen this guy. Old guy.
You don't do Muslims?
No.
Why you don't do Muslims?
Because
Gee, I wonder.
of your attitude. You suck.
We suck?
You do.
I do.
Because you come to this country and don't behave yourself. You get the hell out of here now!
How do you?
Or I'll call the police.
You don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Well,
Don't touch
then
me.
get out of here.
Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Get.
Don't touch me.
Get.
So you say you're not doing Muslims?
No.
This is.
Nope.
This is
Goodbye.
from America. You see that? This guy is kicking us out because.
You need to behave yourself. And then
How do you know if I behave?
Don't.
How do you know?
You're just look at what you're doing right now.
Get the hell out of here now!
You sick. You sick.
Get.
You sick.
Get.
You don't do Muslims.
No.
Disgusting, right? President Biden visited the Christmas decorations at Longwood Gardens in Pennsylvania with his family on Wednesday. How bad was it?
Oh my god!
OMG!
Oh my god!
Hey guys.
So cool. Oh my gosh! Oh my god! Oh my god!
London, shake it. See if you shake his hand.
What? Go no, it's great. That is so awesome. London, look at it.
I don't know that Joe is capable of shaking your hand.
Oh my gosh.
He can hardly walk. Oh, yay! He can walk! Yay! Good job, Joe!
Oh my god. Oh gosh. You say hi? Hi! Hi! Oh, it's a pleasure. Oh wow. Yeah, I'm gonna tell everyone at school.
Wow. Full DOJ release of Epstein records could take a couple of weeks, Deputy AG says. Here we go again. In an interview with ABC News, John Carl, former Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, addresses Trump's end-of-year speech. Oh, and Rob Reiner.
The president gave his year-end speech, primetime speech, basically saying everything is going great in the country, and if anything's going wrong, it's Joe Biden's fault. Did you watch the speech?
No. I've had enough of him. I didn't even think about his speech, but I did see some of it in the news afterward, and I think it was a demonstration of his mental incapacity.
What do you mean by that?
How would you know? You didn't
Well,
watch
that was
it.
a ridiculous speech.
But you
Of
didn't
course, we're
watch
all
it.
offended because of what he said about Rob Reiner and Michelle just a few days before, after the tragedy. Something's wrong there, and something's wrong with the people around him that they don't stop him from his ridiculousness.
Rob and Michelle, I know we were very close with them. As a matter of fact, I spoke to Rob Reiner just last year, and he talked about you, and his affection for you and his respect for you.
Creepy.
How did you react when you saw what Trump said about that?
But of course, it was an emotional reaction, just the news of it all. My friend Cindy Horn, she called, she said, she was hysterical. Are you sitting down? Are you sitting down? I said, I'm sitting down. And I didn't know what to expect, you know. And then she went and said what happened, and we're all devastated. We all loved him so much, and Michelle. They were really a team, a partnership. So when the president made that statement, it didn't sound sane. It was so, I think it went below the rate of humanity. It was just monstrous. That's what I thought.
Oh my goodness. Loshy Nancy. U.S. Coast Guard currently interdicting a sanctioned vessel off the coast of Venezuela in international waters of the Caribbean Sea. Yet another. JFK's niece vows to remove Trump's name herself from the Kennedy Center the day he leaves office. Of course, none of these people have done anything for the Kennedy Center at all for like decades. None of them. Not a single red cent. Not one. Oh, here's yet another one. Maria Shriver. Same shit. Where's she been? Kennedy family slams Trump Kennedy Center name change. It's downright weird. Okay, Jack Schlossberg. Lara Trump reveals her family's annual Christmas predicament. What do you get a president who has everything? Photos with grandkids. Wisconsin police have arrested 3 more dangerous illegal aliens belonging to a crime ring, terrorizing Americans with burglaries and home invasions using sophisticated Wi-Fi jammers, all imported by Joe Biden. Oh, wow.
Busted. A ring of Chilean burglars is caught after breaking into a home in the town of Delafield.
But are they a part of a larger ring of criminals? Waukesha County reporter Brett Lemoyne is live with what cell phone records show.
Yeah, Marion Kim, prosecutors say those records point to these 3 men being at other crime scenes in places like River Hills, Mequon, and even in Minnesota. One by one.
State of Wisconsin versus Leandro Pino Uribe, Luciano Silva Cifuentes, and Gerbet Rojas Silva.
3 men from Chile sat in Waukesha County Court Wednesday on felony burglary charges. In October, investigators say the trio broke into a town of Delafield home and stole approximately 100 pieces of jewelry.
He is part of a group of people that basically traveled between Florida and the Midwest to burglarize residential homes.
Investigators say the MO is similar to another burglary on Mozart Road in September, and even more earlier this year in Washington and Ozaukee counties. In Mequon, 3 suspects were caught on a trail camera targeting homes that bordered woods.
An entry is made through a glass door or window.
Detectives used cell phone data to compare international mobile subscriber identifiers to match cell locations to crime scenes. Earlier this year, federal prosecutors charged 7 Chilean nationals with burglarizing the homes of pro athletes. Buckstar and River Hills resident Bobby Portis was among the victims. We reached out to River Hills police to see if there's any connection to these 3 defendants, but haven't yet heard back.
Even now, I have some of my doubts about if we know exactly who this person is.
When the group was pulled over in McGuanago last week, deputies say they found fake IDs, tools used to break windows, and 26 Wi-Fi signal jammers to block home security systems. Prosecutors say all 3 men are undocumented.
Sound familiar to this gentleman?
Of course they are. Okay, we got some highlights from North Carolina last night. Sure, I'll take that. Missed a lot of it, so.
Well, I'm thrilled to be back in this incredible state with so many proud, hardworking American patriots, which is what you are. Let me begin by wishing each and every one of you a very Merry Christmas. Remember, they didn't want to say Merry Christmas Christmas when I first started. 2016, we don't want to say Merry Christmas. They said, I said, no, we're going to bring back Christmas. And they don't say that anymore. They don't want to say it, but they don't talk about it anymore because they got shellacked. Well, I'm thrilled to be back. We're here tonight to celebrate 11 incredible months. It's been the most successful first year of any president in the history of our country. It has been, isn't that a big statement? But it's a statement that you read all over the place. I mean, who could have done better? I don't think anybody could have done better than us, not me, than us. We're in this together. Since my inauguration, we've created more than 53,000 North Carolina jobs, including 8,000 North Carolina construction jobs. More than 150,000 North Carolina residents have been lifted off of food stamps. They're very happy about that. And after a horrible hurricane, which produced more water damage than any hurricane in history, the Democrats let you down. They really did. Remember, they wouldn't do anything. Remember? They wouldn't go to your community. They wouldn't do anything. You had to wait till January 20th when I took office that we really knocked the hell out of it. Remember? As soon as I took office, I got in on January 20th, and first thing I did was made North Carolina phone calls, and we did a hell of a job. Did a hell of a job. You'd still be sitting in the mud if I didn't get elected. You would be. People were sitting in the mud. But I helped rebuild your state, and I didn't get any help from the Democrats. And I'm doing what no politician of either party has ever done before, standing up to the special interests and demanding lower prices for the American people. This is what we've done. You know, it's called favored nations. And nations all over the world were screwing us. We would have prices that were 10 times higher than the prices they were charging in London and in Paris and all over the world. We had the highest prices for drugs because we had politicians that wouldn't. I did it at the beginning, at the first, but then we had a thing called, you know what happened, COVID? And it was sort of hard to go after France and Italy, say, listen, on top of all your COVID all over the place with everyone dying, we want you to pay a lot of money for drugs. You can't do it. But we did it, and nobody's ever even thought of doing it before. I've negotiated and really did it directly with 17 of the world's largest drug companies, as well as foreign nations that were taking advantage of your country for decades, many decades. For years, Americans have been paying the highest drug prices anywhere in the world by far, 10 times more sometimes, 15 times more, while other countries pay drastically less for the exact same drug made in the exact same plant, in the exact same country. But under my most favored nation, you know what that means? It's a legal term. Drug pricing executive order. I just signed a couple of months ago, and is now being implemented. We have declared that the United States will now pay the same price as the lowest price of any country anywhere in the world. And we should honestly, this is the biggest thing to happen in medicine, I think, since the founding of our country. You know, I don't mind. Go ahead. They actually have a great location. You know, we've had people that look so good behind me that some of them went to Hollywood and actually did very well. You know? See, they may have a better location, but nobody's going to Hollywood. They can only see the back of your head. Look at all the television. Look at all those cameras. It's crazy. But we did something nobody's ever done before. Nobody's tried. Nobody thought they could do it. Don't forget the drug companies turned out to really do the right thing. They really did. And they were there at the White House today. You saw some of the biggest companies in the world were there. The rest of them are coming next week. But the big problem was foreign countries. They would have to take their drug and raise it from $10 to $20 to $30, maybe to $100, maybe 10 times more, but it really doesn't work that way because the world is a bigger place than the U.S., and so you're not going to have to raise it that much, but you have to raise it. And they always said for 50 years, they said, let the United States pay. And for 50 years, the United States got screwed because we're paying so much more. Drug that was selling for $10 in London sells for $130. That's 13 times more in New York. 13 times more. So $10 in London, $130 in New York. And now that drug will go up for the other country from $10 to only $20 or maybe $30, and will come down from the United States of America to $20 from $130. Think of that. Think of that.
Big deal. Good.
The current Unaffordable Care Act,
ECA,
commonly known as Barack Hussein Obamacare, was created to make insurance companies rich. It was bad health care at much too higher cost, and you see now that the steep increase in premiums that's being demanded by the Democrats. It was never any good, Obamacare. It was done for the benefit of insurance companies, which totally control the Democrats. That's why you could have a strike on January 30th. You could have another shutdown because the Democrats are totally in the hands of, they're totally controlled by the insurance companies, big wealthy companies. Again, I want the money to go directly to the people so you can buy your own health care, and you'll get much better health care at a much lower price. And we had men playing in women's sports, transgender for everybody, crime at record levels, the worst trade deals ever made, and our country was laughed at from all over the world, but they're not laughing anymore. 1 year ago, our country was dead. Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world because we finally have a president who puts America first. We had men playing in women's sports. How about the new thing in Minnesota?
Now we get to Minnesota. Okay. There we go.
With the Somalians. They sold, now it came out, the great U.S. attorney up there, they came out, think of this, $9 billion. And they think that's just the beginning. They stole, think of it, in their country, they live on nothing, they have nothing. They come here and they steal $9 billion. Are we stupid? I mean, how do we allow that to happen? Ilhan Omar should be sent out of our country. She should not be allowed to be a congresswoman. She married her brother either to stay or to get him into the country. And yesterday she, I guess, made up a story. She said the police attacked her son. They stopped the car and the police said, we never attacked him. We never stopped him. It was a made-up story. She's a con person. She's full of con. She says, zero. She said, you ought to get her the hell out of our country. That's what you ought to do. She made up a story that the police stopped her son's car and they harassed the hell out of her. It turned out to be a fake story. There was no stoppage of his car and there was no harassment.
Disgusting.
But think of that. In Minnesota, this beautiful...
Can't wait to see that bitch booted out.
Beautiful place, once beautiful. I don't call it beautiful. You got a governor who's a stupid person and a corrupt. He's corrupt and stupid. But he allowed this to go on. He allowed this to go on. Everybody knew
he knew
what was going on. But what nobody knew is...
Probably profited from it quite a bit.
Over $9 billion. And the people of Minnesota are not happy.
Hey, wages rising.
Under Trump, wages are rising much faster than inflation for the first time in many years. Think of that. Wages are rising faster than inflation. That's what it's all about, right? And we're delivering lower prices and bigger paychecks. And the wage chart that you see up there is incredible. That, you know, NBC didn't put up and the networks didn't put up. There are more people working today than at any time in American history. And very importantly, while tens of thousands of new jobs under Biden were government jobs, they were government jobs. I could do that right now. You saw it today, we had 4.5% inflation. That's because I'm letting go of tremendous numbers of government workers. We're replacing them. In fact, we've reduced the federal workforce by 270,000 jobs. That's not to be mean. That's to get them off. And they are getting jobs in the private sector, and we're helping them to get jobs. But if you have all government jobs, we're going to be, you know, a country that we don't want to mention names because we don't want to insult, but we're going to be a country that cannot be great. 100% just came out, 100% of all jobs created since I took office have been in the private sector. The only way to make our country great.
Oh, plane crash. Okay.
But I also want to express my condolences to the people of this state and to the loved ones of NASCAR legend Greg Biffle, who perished yesterday in a tragic plane crash with his family in Statesville. I met him twice. He was just a great young man. And what a tragedy that is with his whole family. So I just want to pay our condolences, our love. Please. I'll tell you, North Carolina will never forget them. He was, and his family were incredible people.
Pre-Christmas Trump dance? All right.
Probably 50 or 60 points higher.
We saw him commenting on Hill Dog. Chris. All right. Epstein victim tears up after the Epstein file drop. Proved a complaint filed by her sister in 1996 was completely ignored by the FBI. Wow. A farmer. Really?
There was a lot of anxiety coming into today for many of us survivors and that have been involved in this process. But I have to say, it has been an emotional day in a way that I was not expecting. You know, my sister, Maria Farmer, reported Epstein and his crimes in 1996. We've been saying that over and over again. And part of what was released today was an official FBI form, and I think it was an FD 71, dated September 3rd, 1996, with some of my sister's report. It was labeled under child pornography, and it described Epstein stealing photos of myself at the age of 16, of my younger sister, who was 12 at the time. And just to see it in writing and to know that they had this document this entire time, and how many people were harmed after that date, it just, you know, we've been saying it over and over, but to see it in black and white that way has been very emotional. I'm with Maria today. I know she felt a tremendous amount of relief and redemption, but also sorrow in thinking about, you know, people like Virginia Roberts Giuffre, who are not here to see this and be a part of really forcing the government to be transparent finally about this case.
So Annie, I mean, I just so people know, what this is the document that you're talking about. It is the 1996 complaint that your sister made to the FBI about Epstein. She alleged that he stole nude and partially nude photographs of her underage sisters, constituting child pornography. And as we know, law enforcement failed to act on that complaint in 1996. She's followed up on this. She sued in response. You sued over what you experienced. Maria, in a statement, has said, "This is amazing. Thank you for believing me. I feel redeemed. This is one of the best days of my life." Of course, it's mixed with the fact that I'm devastated about all the other little girls like Virginia who were harmed because the FBI didn't do their job. I'm crying for two reasons. I want everyone to know that I'm shedding tears of joy for myself, but also tears of sorrow for all the other victims that the FBI failed. Looking at this document, I can feel, I'm sure, just a fraction of the emotion you feel, because you think of, like, if only they took this seriously, how many innocent girls
Yeah, if only you took it seriously, Jake.
Not have been harmed.
It. Ooh, interesting. Mike Benz. Key to Epstein. Bear Stearns put him on BCCI trades in 1979. Made millions helping the CIA, Brits, Saudis, and Israelis disguise covert cash by clearing $13 billion with BCCI.
BCCI was involved in some of the most sensitive intelligence operations of the Reagan-Bush years. Oh, that's exactly when Epstein went on his own, including the secret sale of arms to Iran. Oh, you mean the ones that were where the chief middleman was Jeffrey Epstein's client, Adnan Khashoggi, and the U.S. side of the arms transaction was run by Jeffrey Epstein's fucking roommate, Stan Pottinger, and the British side of this illegal arms deal was run by Jeffrey Epstein's fucking London partner that he flew out to London to do the deals with.
Bingo.
Epstein is literally every part in the early 1980s, literally all four parts. And who, by the way, was the head of Israeli military intelligence on the Israeli side of this? Ehud Barak, who Jeffrey Epstein would meet with 45 times, do business deals together in Mongolia, Cote d'Ivoire, the United States, Israel, Russia. You have all four intelligence, not just random, the top people involved in Iran-Contra from all four of the intelligence agencies, from all four of the main countries associated with the action, living with Jeffrey Epstein, doing multiple fucking multi-week sleepovers together in fucking London, living together as fucking cuddle buddies in a hotel in New York City, while Bear Stearns was running brokerage accounts at the CIA proprietary bank, doing the fucking gun running for the covert action. It's nothing but spy services. When you see how deep the BCCI shit goes, and here's another thing. Like, for example, okay? So Bear becomes one of the top three brokers transacting BCCI Capcom futures. Capcom is owned 50% by Kamal Adam, which trades finance Afghan Mujahideen pipelines. The Mujahideen, better known today as fucking ISIS, better known today as fucking Al-Qaeda, the Mujahideen was the CIA-backed Islamo-fascist group that the CIA set up BCCI to covertly fund through drug money on the Golden Crescent on the Afghan plains and massive flows of guns from Pakistan into Afghanistan. Remember when we played the fucking helicopter drop of National Security Advisor in 1979, Zbigniew Brzezinski?
U.S. National Security Advisor Brzezinski flew to Pakistan to set about rallying resistance. He wanted to arm the Mujahideen without revealing America's role.
Oh, he wanted to do a covert action to secretly fund the Mujahideen. Literally Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden, warrior on the road to peace. Anti-Soviet warrior puts his army on the road to peace. Hey, that's Osama bin Laden, funded by the CIA. Why? To get rid of the Soviets in Afghanistan, the height of the Cold War in 1979. But what did he want to do? 1979. Huh. So while Bear fucking Stearns, let me make sure I have this right. Let's do a little investigative journalism here, since evidently the New York Times is in a fucking retarded comatose state. And evidently didn't bother to ask a single question about any significant part of the rigorous investigation they were conducting. So let's go back to this. So Bear Stearns becomes one of the top 3 brokers transacting BCCI Capcom futures, commodities, $2 billion worth. BCCI, the CIA's proprietary bank, set up to secretly fund the Mujahideen, ISIS, to kill Soviets. Here's Zbigniew Brzezinski in 1979, while Jeffrey Epstein is at Bear Stearns the year before he's made partner, this magic promotion to being made partner in 1979. Here's him dropping out of a fucking helicopter to covertly pump up the Mujahideen without revealing the United States government's role.
To Pakistan, U.S. National Security Advisor Brzezinski flew to Pakistan to set about rallying resistance. He wanted to arm the Mujahideen without revealing America's role.
Oh, he wanted to arm them. You mean through Doug Leese, the British covert arms trafficker that Jeffrey Epstein was flying to London to sleep at his house? Oh, you mean like through Stanley Pottinger, who Jeffrey Epstein was fucking living with and spooning with at night at a hotel in New York City they rented out together.
So crazy.
Covertly arming them out of the CIA's BCCI bank. And in 1979, while the CIA is running this operation to finance the Mujahideen, but without revealing the United States government's role, what was Bear Stearns doing? Sorry, remind me. Oh, they had a $2 billion book brokering transactions with BCCI and Capcom, the CIA bank, and Capcom, which is 50% owned by Kamal Adnan, which trades finance Afghan Mujahideen pipeline. Oh, well, this is exactly what the National Security Advisor and CIA were covertly trying to do, to covertly finance the Afghan Mujahideen pipelines. And Bear Stearns, in the late 1970s, early 1980s, is got $2 billion worth of cash slushing through it, but it's Bear Stearns, it's not the U.S. government. So, for example, if, say, Stan Pottinger or Doug Leese or Adnan Khashoggi or anyone in the CIA network involved in this whole thing wanted to get this financed but didn't want to reveal America's role, they could just have Bear set up a book and move the money.
Wow.
To, I'm sorry, the Safari Club, Saudi spy master, Kamal Adam. Oh, yeah. So Bear Stearns was flooding $2 billion of futures between the CIA proprietary bank and the CIA's Safari Club spy master, the 5-nation covert consortium led by Saudi spy master Kamal Adam, who needed a bank that could move hundreds of millions of untraceable petrodollars. Oh, in 1982, Jeffrey Epstein was doing a crude oil deal.
Oh, wow.
Oh, hey, 1982 is the year that Jeffrey Epstein got the fake Saudi passport.
Oh, wow.
While he was doing a oil pipeline deal with Stan Pottinger and Doug Leese, who were both running the Iran-Contra covert arms operation, while Bear Stearns, he's answering the phone and saying, Bear Stearns speaking, while he's left Bear Stearns for over a year.
Wow.
So I'm sorry, Jeffrey Epstein's whole thing is that he could make funds sheltered and untraceable. And he's doing he's doing oil deals while he's got a fake Saudi passport and takes on Adnan Khashoggi as a client. Adnan Khashoggi, who owned the Safari Club, and which was led by the Saudi spy master, home of Jeffrey Epstein's fake passport. And Kamal Adam was scaled up by BCCI, and Kamal Adam has a 50. By the way, Bear Stearns admitted to BCCI's London panel of brokers. This is, 1979 to 1980. Bear admitted to BCCI's London panel of brokers for Euro-dollar futures and mirrored oil options. Oh shit! Did Jeffrey Epstein work at that on that in 1979? And then was made partner in 1980? Oh shit! Is that how he got plugged into the Doug Leese, Stan Pottinger, Adnan Khashoggi CIA network? Is it because while at Bear Stearns was working with the CIA's fucking proprietary bank? Safari Club's Iran Saudi channel, because remember, Safari Club was set up in 76, pre-revolution in 79, begins using commodity mirrors that Bear Stearns was running to disguise weapons payments. Oh shit, that explains how Jeffrey Epstein is working with Doug Leese, the weapons dealer, because in 1979, he was probably working on the fucking CIA disguise payments using mirrored oil options to disguise weapons payments. Maybe that's why Doug Leese liked him in London. Because the fucking BCCI CIA operation that Doug Leese was running covert arms through to give weapons to the fucking Mujahideen, Jeffrey Epstein had been working at Bear Stearns on fucking disguising the payments for the weapons Doug Leese was fucking buying. And you would know that if the New York Times reported who the deals were with. Did Jeffrey Epstein in 1979 and 1980 work on BCCI deals? If he did, it's fucking over. It's a fucking wrap. That bank was created by the CIA and went down in a ball of flames in the biggest scandal of the early 1980s because the CIA was openly using it for illegal narcotics and illegal weapons all over the Middle East, all over North Africa, all over Central Asia. And Bear Stearns admitted that they used their fucking complex, financial instruments. We're going to structure this as this swap and options, and it's going to look like it's, two counterparties betting on different futures on the price of oil. But actually, there is this offset created by the mirror that allows you to take skim, to siphon off the skim, and what you're doing is actually one counterparty is paying another for illegal guns. But they're disguising it as a market trade for oil swaps. Hey, assholes at the New York Times, is this why right here, top of the piece, you say, well, the key is Bear Stearns, the Bear Stearns stuff that we looked at so thoroughly. We looked at everything. We talked to 24 of his co-workers. We talked to 2 or 3 of his fucking direct bosses and managers. We can't tell you a single thing he worked with. Oh, because Bear Stearns at the time was actually disguising its mirrored oil deals that Jeffrey Epstein then immediately went to work on doing himself after he left Bear while still answering the phone as Bear Stearns. Oh, it's because Bear Stearns they were using commodity mirrors trades to disguise weapons payments for the CIA's bank. Well, that explains everything. Jeffrey Epstein touched BCCI deals at Bear in 1979, you have the answer to the entire fucking mystery of Jeffrey Epstein. As I told you guys, it all goes back to Iran-Contra. Iran, when their government was overturned in 1979 in the Islamic Revolution, that's going to cause a fucking flurry of CIA activity to flood the zone with cash to dissidents, resistance movements, and at the same time, we're still funding the fucking Mujahideen out of the BCCI. BCCI is on record admitting to doing this. Jeffrey Epstein was promoted to partner. No one can explain why. He was just smooth and charming. Oh, actually, maybe it was because he was on the BCCI deal. And because it was a signature marquee deal in 1979, he got promoted to partner. Because this major multi-billion-dollar funnel, even the UK tribunal confirms Bear as broker of multiple BCCI shell accounts, CIA shell accounts, BCCI. Safari Club co-founder, 50% owner of Capcom. His Capcom trades cleared through Bear. So the guy who runs the Saudi CIA covert clandestine supercenter, the Safari Club, from 1976 to 1981, and to secretly disguise payments as ordinary course transactions to pay for these weapons deals, he uses Bear Stearns for it. And Jeffrey Epstein is at Bear Stearns in this exact time period, admitting to using basically commodities options trades to secretly disguise those very same CIA, Saudi, probably Israeli and British as well, covert financing. It was technically run by the Saudis, but this was a joint US, UK, Israel foreign policy in the region. Jointly ran the Safari Club. In 1976, that's the year Jeffrey Epstein joined Bear Stearns. The Bear Stearns Forex desk opens correspondent account for the fledgling BCCI Luxembourg, 25 million daily turnover. That's the very year Jeffrey Epstein joined Bear Stearns. Right as BCCI is being scaled up by Kamal Adnan, the very counterparty in the Bear Stearns trades, specifically to launder Safari Club petrodollars. And Jeffrey Epstein was working on the oil deals right in 1982 when he got the fake Saudi passport. And Kamal Adam is the Saudi spy master who created the joint CIA-Saudi Safari Club. Ace Greenberg. Hey, that name sounds familiar. Ace Greenberg set up the BCCI Luxembourg account to scale up BCCI and the CIA Saudi Intelligence Safari Club. Hey, that name sounds familiar. Isn't this the guy who hired Jeffrey Epstein and set him up with his daughter and made Jeffrey Epstein a made man? Personally greenlighting Bear Stearns' activity with the CIA to scale up the CIA's proprietary bank? Do you think Ace Greenberg then brought Jeffrey Epstein into these deals? Guys, we just broke the entire Jeffrey Epstein story. If Ace Greenberg brought Jeffrey Epstein into the BCCI deals at Bear, that explains literally everything. It explains Jeffrey Epstein's meteoric rise. It explains how he moved up in the company so quickly. It explains why everyone was so charmed by him. Hint, not because of his charm. It explains how he got all these huge clients so quickly. It explains how he, in 1981 and 1982, he's already meeting with major CIA, MI6, Saudi intelligence officials. He's meeting with Doug Lee, Stan Pottinger, Adnan Khashoggi, Middle Eastern sheikhs. Oh, it's because he handled BCCI at Bear. Ace Greenberg opened those accounts before Ace Greenberg became CEO. The article says that Ace Greenberg brought Jeffrey Epstein into the most lucrative deals. Here are the lucrative deals. You immediately have Jeffrey Epstein handling CIA financing, disguising illegal weapons sales as complex financial transactions for commodities or oil. That explains how Jeffrey Epstein got a specialty in complex financial transactions. Oh, because he got it because he was working, he was put on the BCCI account. Oh, that explains how he's working with Edgar Bronfman. Because BCCI was helping U.S., Saudi, British, but also Israeli interests in the Iran-Iraq affair and in Afghanistan. That explains how he was protected every time he got in trouble with fraud. The Justice Department takes action against Jeffrey Epstein for securities laws violations. Jeffrey Epstein openly says in court that Bear Stearns was actually secretly moving money for the CIA. Well, that can't come out in open court. Okay, let's not move forward with prosecution. Don't want to reveal national security secrets.
Oh, wow.
That explains why Jeffrey Epstein has evaded arrest for all of his fraud, all this bullshit about scams, schemes, ruthless cons. How does he keep getting away with it? Oh, because from the very beginning, what did BCCI collapse in? BCCI collapsed in a heap of fraud, scams. What was their cons? Just put in those keywords. Time Magazine, BCCI, the dirtiest bank of all. Bear Stearns admits to doing mirrored trades to facilitate CIA covert financing to the Mujahideen. In 1979, while Jeffrey Epstein is there. That explains why Jeffrey Epstein, because the French intelligence was also a big part of the Safari Club. That explains how Jeffrey Epstein has these French intelligence connection points. That explains how Jeffrey Epstein has these British intelligence connection points. That explains how he's got these Israeli intelligence connection points. That explains how he's got these Saudi intelligence connection points. And that definitely explains how he has all these CIA connection points. They're all connected through the late 1970s Safari Club network that then scaled up BCCI, using Bear Stearns to do it while he was there making his miracle rise. So all that extraordinary profit, extraordinary deal flow is not disproving the spy services thing. It literally proves it.
Yep.
If he was making $800,000 a year at 25 years old working on BCCI deals at Bear, oh, but you don't fucking tell us a single deal. Because what if that was the case? The whole fucking thing would collapse. It would be imagine that. Bear Stearns in 1976, Ace Greenberg, who wasn't even CEO at the time, just a senior executive, opens the BCCI, the CIA bank account, and then brings in Jeffrey Epstein as his personal protege. And Epstein never handled, in 5 years, a BCCI deal, while Bear Stearns kept working that for a decade, 1976 to 1985. Guys, I think we literally just cracked the entire Epstein mystery. Alex Acosta's statement that it was above his pay grade as a prosecutor, he was told to back off because he belonged to intelligence, is because he belonged to intelligence, so to speak. He was working with and facilitating otherwise illicit, because it's not illicit if it's a CIA authorized transaction, but otherwise illicit arms deals, probably drug flows. If you remember, Ghislaine Maxwell, the first example that came to mind was him moving money for the Sinaloa drug cartel when she was talking to the DOJ. But we just cracked it. His personal mentor opened the BCCI accounts. The reason the New York Times fucking duped and dumped shit into the mouth of true believers, like the Michael Tracy type crowds, or people who want to feel themselves as smart because they're just on the opposite side of whatever, low brain activity slop comes out from a lot of other people on the Epstein thing. They didn't name a deal here, a single deal. And there's a very obvious question that can be asked right now to the New York Times. Frankly, the Justice Department, if there's still any ongoing investigation about Jeffrey Epstein, should fucking subpoena the New York Times for all those files. Just run a keyword search. 4 letters, you have the answer. BCCI.
Yeah.
Did Jeffrey Epstein work on the banking transactions of the Central Intelligence Agency, which connected to 4 other intelligence agencies and foreign governments between 1976 and 1980? If the answer to that is yes, you now can explain everything. And it's a really simple story that explains all of his high net worth clients, that explains how he got away with and was above the law for all of his fraudulent business transactions in the U.S. Virgin Islands, to the Towers Financial Ponzi scheme, to the SEC violations at Bear, that explains the exact geographic nature of his top connections, U.S., UK, Israel, Saudi Arabia, and France, that explains everything, his entire career, from the moment he stepped foot in Bear Stearns' office to the day he died. Well, there's your answer. If there is still any ongoing investigation, you have something very actionable. To the extent that there's any ongoing investigation by this Justice Department into Jeffrey Epstein's criminal enterprise, subpoena the New York Times for all files and compiling this story, or the Justice Departement, the FBI, can knock on the doors of everyone the FBI interviewed. FBI, as part of our criminal investigation, we're asking Michael Tenenbaum to sit for a voluntary interview to tell us the same thing they told the New York Times. We actually just have one question for you. Hey, Michael Tenenbaum, you were Jeffrey Epstein's boss. Did Jeffrey Epstein ever work on a BCCI deal at Bear? If the answer is yes, it's game over. It's literally done right there. Oh, he started his career as a banker for CIA oil, weapons, covert action around Iran, Iraq, Israel, Afghanistan, as part of joint U.S., Saudi, UK, and French intelligence. It's over. It's like literally over. If Ace Greenberg, in 1976, opened the BCCI account at Bear, if he brought Jeffrey Epstein in, Jeffrey Epstein literally started his career. All he ever knew was being a CIA financial stakeholder banker. If he started his career working on how do you become a specialist in asset sheltering for untraceable transactions? Oh, because he started his career working on sheltering transactions for the CIA out of Bear to disguise CIA weapons payments using complex commodities and options and futures trading. You have so many leads to get an answer to this. Quick, before they all get assassinated tomorrow. I'm joking, God forbid. But like literally, ask Michael Tenenbaum. You were his boss. Did he ever work on BCCI stuff at Bear? Clark Schubach. You were his manager. Did he ever work on a BCCI transaction at Bear? All of them. And then it's over. It explains everything. Yeah, all this happened. The Adnan Khashoggi, the Iran-Contra, the Les Wexner stuff, the Bill Clinton stuff and why he's at the White House 17 times in the 1990s, why he's working with Ehud Barak, the head of Israeli military intelligence, why he had Adnan Khashoggi as a client, the Saudi intelligence, the whole Jean-Luc Brunel and French intelligence that he worked with in like the Cote d'Ivoire things. Oh, it's because it's all just, he just started his career doing the financing for the Safari Club through the Bear BCCI portfolio. And then all of the related deals in his complex offshore bank accounts run through his mystery fund, it was all just related deal flow. That's why he's meeting with the weapons brokers in 1982, Doug Leese, and sleeping over, reverse cowgirling with Stan Pottinger in a hotel room while they lived together in New York City. This is an absolute bombshell. And we didn't learn this from the New York Times. We fucking opened up the guts of the New York Times lies and pried out, on the one hand, a very dirty and ugly, but on the other hand, actually very clean and elegant explanation for the entire past 40 years of Jeffrey Epstein mysteries. It was just the BCCI banker, if that is the case. It could be any number of permutations. But the fact that that account was opened up by the guy who recruited him, Ace Greenberg, Bear is listed by the New York Federal Reserve in 1978. Jeffrey Epstein was there from 1976. Right, the year they opened the Bear opens the BCCI branch. 1978, as he's making his come up, Bear listed by the New York Fed as a primary government securities dealer for BCCI's New York branch. Fresh Saudi cash. Oh, that's how you get the fake Saudi passport for Jeffrey Epstein and clients like Adnan Khashoggi, the Saudi arms dealer. Push through repos.
Yep.
Bear repos funding Safari Club operations. Again, Ace Greenberg ran point at Bear. 1979, 1980, the last 2 years that he was there. They admitted to London. Remember, Jeffrey Epstein was flying back and forth with London. They said it was the first time he'd ever seen intergenerational wealth. Based on what? Fuck you. It's a just so story. You made that up. They were using these Bear Stearns complex financial transactions that Ace Greenberg, Jeffrey Epstein's personal mentor, who made his whole career at Bear, was spearheading to disguise CIA weapons payments. Safari Club was run by the CIA. Looks like actually the coordinator on that was Martin Rosen, Bear's commodity head. Hey, Control F Martin. Oh, no Martin Rosen. They're literally funding every aspect of this for the entire period. This explains why the entire period and Jeffrey Epstein's 32-year continuous relationship with Bear Stearns is because Bear Stearns network was the BCCI network. That explains all the deal flow, all of it. 1986, right as Iran-Contra comes to a head, Bear terminates BCCI in a Ace Greenberg personal memo to the board. And that is when Jeffrey Epstein branches out to Towers Financial and then to Les Wexner. After BCCI dissolves in a hail of bankruptcy and scandal and Justice Department investigations and Senate and House hearings. Guys, I think we literally just cracked the entire Jeffrey Epstein case. All of it. If the New York Times had simply asked any one of his managers, any one of his colleagues, any one of his associates, if he worked on a BCCI deal there, and the answer is yes, then the explanation for all this is because Jeffrey Epstein started off his career as a CIA banker. Even if not primarily, that's what plugged him into this whole network. International intrigue, Saudi billionaires, Israeli military intelligence, British arms dealers, Spanish and French royal family. And then all of the CIA conduits that we've covered for the past several years. It's all explained if, as the New York Times said, Ace Greenberg plugged him into the most lucrative deals at Bear, and that included Ace Greenberg's BCCI portfolio. So it's over. There's a very, very easy answer. It's yes, no. I think we all know the answer. And I think that's why the New York Times never asked the question, or they did ask the question. And that news would shake the entire world. It just wasn't fit to print. All right. That's it for tonight. I want to meditate on this.
That was a good one. Drop the link. Go. All right. Anything in? Thousands attend march to protest ICE in South Minneapolis. Oh, God. Ugh. Oh my God. All right, well, we're actually out of material here. And I do not see my relief. I don't know who's in today. Or Saturdays else. He might have something going. Yeah, not sure. Well, if any hosts happen to be out there tuning in and you feel like coming and taking the wheel for the next couple hours, feel free to jump on in. In the meantime, we'll see what we can find. Megyn Kelly at Turning Point event thing. She favored Candace. Oh yeah, that whole Turning Point thing was the other night, right? Forget what it was called.
It was fine. I don't think Israel had anything to do with it, but why did I have an obligation to stop Candace from asking those questions? I didn't, and I didn't call her out because I favored her asking them.
Okay. Oh yeah, Kennedy Center posted a preview of the Kennedy Center Honor Show. Where'd that go?
Hello. Please join me in honoring the 2025 Kennedy Center honorees. Michael Crawford, Gloria Gaynor, Sylvester Stallone, George Strait, Kiss.
It's kind of a dream come true to be here for Sly and to be part of what is the epitome of what art is all about, to celebrate it here tonight at the Kennedy Center.
He's well deserving of this award, and I'm grateful to be here.
This was very emotional. I mean, this is like almost an out-of-body journey, and so many of our friends showed up. It was great.
I
Michael Crawford has certainly paved the way for people like me to come along after him and to be on Broadway, and he had so many iconic roles that define musical theater.
It was mind-blowing. There are no words to describe the excitement of this evening.
You really are the bar, my friend, the gold standard for all of us to follow.
George has enough hits to fill this 2-hour show without even looking back.
It was amazing having those great artists come up. I just appreciate it so much.
Kiss's impact goes beyond the fabric of music and transcends entertainment as we know it.
It's really surreal because it's the embodiment of the American dream.
Gloria Gaynor has meant so much to music history, to culture, to society.
She has paved the way for so many people.
And as you walk this earth, you do so with humble grace.
My heart just wants to burst because it is so fulfilling. It's just incredible.
Nice. Can't wait to see that. Okay. Providence Mayor Brett Smiley and Providence Police Chief Oscar Perez were honored at a basketball game after the Brown University and MI2 shootings were cracked by a homeless guy. Yeah. And these people are getting clapped for? Should be the homeless guy there getting a standing ovation from a stadium. This is disgusting. Police chief is a joke.
A few moments ago, Providence Mayor Brett Smiley and Chief of Police Colonel Oscar Perez
Disgusting.
were recognized along with the first responders who assisted in response to the Brown University shooting last week.
Disgusting. We'll skip Rosie. Oh man, yeah, that new Spielberg trailer. Oh boy. Creepy one. It looks quite good. What is Bill Clinton thinking here? I don't know. Let's see.
And these people will stop at nothing. And yes, the
Why did I marry this woman?
Russians helped them last time. The
Oh God. I wish I hadn't sold that revolver.
Russians are helping them now. And you cover the White House. You know that the White House has said, don't brief the Congress. Don't even tell them in classified settings.
Okay, what's this? Town hall thing? Oh, the turning point thing? All right.
And Trump, we're going to talk about this a little later in the show, but a national housing crisis, potentially declaring that to get young people houses. It's big.
Oh, absolutely. So when you talk on college campuses, as I do in Turning Point, we talk to audiences of 500 or 5,000, and you always ask the same question. Young men, do you want to get married? And they all say yes. They raise their hand. Do you want to bring your wife home to the frat house on your wedding night? Right. And everyone laughs because, of course, that's absurd. It's in our bones. We want to take our wife, we want to take our families home to our home. You ask the same thing of young women. Do you want to be mothers? And they all raise their hand. Young women, would you like to be mothers someday? Yeah. Raise your hand if you'd like to be a mom someday. Do you want to take your child home to an apartment building with 1,000 strangers and elevator where a dog pooped in the corner? No, of course not. You want to bring your child home to your home, to a nursery that you built. That's the American dream. That's in our DNA. And so young people naturally want homes. They know that home ownership is the rite of passage to get married, to have children, and we have a population collapse going on in this country. It's something that Charlie was constantly talking about. And so here's how we solve it right now, because we need young people to be inspired to get families, start families, get married, and get into homes. And you must have home ownership to do that. First off, homes right now in America are being occupied by 30 million criminal aliens that have no right to be here. Those homes must go to young American families, and we must stop subsidizing that right now. Second off, venture capital and corporatists and hedge funds are buying up homes in huge swaths to create nihilistic renting conditions to trap
Attaboy, Benny.
young people and never let them have home ownership.
Good man talking about that.
I believe that that should be illegal. I believe that they should have to divest BlackRock and Vanguard.
Good
Should
man.
not own all the homes in America. That's insane. That should be illegal.
You're getting them real excited, Betty.
and the final thing is
Wait, what'd she say?
that should be illegal.
You're getting them real excited, Betty.
Oh, yeah.
and the final thing is that we need to preach home ownership and that gift and what that is to young people, because what that is a stake. It's buying into the American dream. It's saying, I believe in this place, and we need to make sure that young people can see that vision and embrace their American dream.
And we have more.
100% true.
Oh, that totally explains why all those companies were out there buying it full and over market price with no comps to support it, because they knew the Fed government was going to be paying the mortgage when they put illegals in there.
Yep. Basically the same pattern followed with healthcare. Hold on. Yeah, thanks for jumping in and taking the wheel, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I got a 35-minute clip of Mike Benz that dropped an hour ago that is going to blow your guys' mind. The whole 35?
Yeah, I just played it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a good one though. It's really damn good. Yep.
All right, so maybe how long is this time block?
Till it's just an hour and 45 left.
Okay, hour and 45. Let's see. All right, I can roll with that.
Yeah. You sure?
Okay.
You good?
Yeah.
Cool. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Enjoy your Saturday.
I will, yeah. I'll go kick it with the fam for a bit. All right.
Okay, anything to explain to everybody why somebody else is on the time slot?
Oh, yeah, LC. I guess LC Mac had to give up his Saturday. He's still doing his Thursday slot, but he's, I guess he had other... Well, I guess he just had another child, so he's...
Oh, yeah, well, that's... There you go.
Yeah, I think that's probably mostly what it is.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure everybody was, had the right story and it didn't, spit out of control.
Right. As it sometimes does, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All right, we'll have a good show, man.
Okay. So, aloha, folks. I'm going to...
All right, there we go. Well, I suppose that's it for me, YouTube. I'm going to go relax for a while. I would love to hang, but it's been like 2.5 hours, and I'm running out of steam for the time being. But I will be back. We'll be back soon. I don't know when the next slot that needs covering is, but might be later tonight and or tomorrow. So I'll see you soon enough, all right? There we go. In the meantime, have a good rest of your weekend, and I'll see you when I see you next.